Right, you already know who it is, man. I'm back at it. I'm back with another segment right here now, man. So now this one right here, I want to deal with. I want to so again. So dealing with the series now. We spoke about how dealing with this Avengers Infinity War now. We're gonna do this Wakanda edition, Doctor Strange edition, Thanos edition. This is what we're gonna deal with. You see what I'm saying? 4 edition. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're gonna deal with. So now this edition, or what I want to present to you in this video right here, is the Thanos edition. I want to deal with this. I want to bring it to you. So now, you know what I'm saying? I want to bring it to you. So again, so dealing with the movie now, I had to go watch it a second time now. You see what I'm saying? So I watched the movie a second time now. Now I want to bring you the real stuff right here. You see what I'm saying? But we still got obviously the other editions, but I want to bring you the real stuff. So now, first I want to do with Thanos as far as his history in the comic books. I want to go briefly into comic books. Not too deep, it's just briefly. So now, it says that Thanos was born from a race of beings on Saturn's moon, Titan. That's where he was born. You see what I'm saying? And he said that he became obsessed with death, and who the death was personified now as a female figure, you see. Now, as a result, Thanos had a goal. His goal was to destroy all life, you see what I'm saying? So now he became known as the Mad Titan. So he's born on the planet, the moon of Titan, Saturn's moon Titan. So now he becomes known as the Mad Titan. You see, that's who he is now. So now he seeks out the Infinity Stones to help him with his goal of just destroying all life. So now that's his new goal now. So now he wants to get these Infinity Stones now to destroy all life now. So now I want to explain the whole Infinity Stone aspect. So now, when you're dealing with this now, again, my theory is that they're quarks now, and there being 6 quarks, up, down, charm, strange, beauty, or bottom, and truth, also known as top. So top, bottom, up, down, charm, strange. That's the 6 quarks. Then the quarks is what makes up the proton and neutron. So the proton 2 up, 1 down, neutron 2 down, and 1 up. And that's what makes up the proton and neutron, and then they're binding together now with the gluon, which is a strong force that holds the quarks together within the proton and neutron themselves. You see, but see, as it pertains to, so that's my whole take on what the Infinity Stones are. But we're gonna go further into it. You see, so now, but see, the discovery of the quarks now dates back to, but no, I want to explain the correlation between the discovery of the quarks and also when the Infinity Stones first appeared in the comic books. So now the discovery of the quarks goes back to 1968 when it was first discovered, and then it was still theorized before that, but that's when it kind of first emerged, really, 1968. Then the first appearance of the gems in the comic books was 1972. You see what I'm saying? 1972. But I want to explain how the information in the comic books may differ from the actual science themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because again, at the time when they first came out, there wasn't much information about them. You see what I'm saying? There wasn't much information about the quarks. You see what I'm saying? At the time when it first came out, you see, there wasn't much information about it. So they had to wait for more information to come out, and then they had to, spread. Then the knowledge increased. You see what I'm saying? You see. But now in the comic books now, the Infinity Stones wasn't spread out amongst different people. But it wasn't until the creation of the Infinity Gauntlet, which what Thanos has, the Gauntlet, right, to where each Infinity Stone now can be brought. The powers can be brought together. You see. But the Infinity Gauntlet appeared in 1990. That's when it appeared in 1990. But then more information of the quarks also came out in 1990. That's when the full disclosure of the quarks came out in 1990. So they were able to expand on it. You see what I'm saying? And bring the powers together. So the gauntlet itself would kind of represent the kind of strong force that binds the quarks themselves. But see, I want to explain this. Well, as it pertains to the quarks, though, I believe that the foundation principle, or the foundation, is the quarks themselves, but there's also a metaphysical level layered on top. So there's a metaphysical level to it that's also layered on top of the foundation principle of them being quarks. So even if you were to so the whole thing with this movie is, You can't be wrong with this movie. So even if your interpretation may not necessarily be quarks, as long as you can interpret whatever you can deal with and it pertain it to the universe, then you're still you're still dealing with the real information. So even if you say it's chakras and go into the chakras, you're still dealing with the real knowledge because you understand that there's spheres, there's realms to this. You see what I'm saying? And there's levels to this and aspects of the universe, which is what it really represents. So you're not wrong for that. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that the foundation principle was based on the quarks, but then there was a metaphysical level layered on top as well, and we're gonna go into that level. You see, we're gonna go into this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So now, what I mentioned in the prelude, I spoke about how the order in which he gets the stones would be significant. And it was significant. I paid close attention to it when I watched it the second time. I paid close attention to it. And we're going to break this down to you. So now, at the start of the movie, he already has the Power Stone. The purple one. You see what I'm saying? Then he gets the Space Stone from Thor, which is in a blue cube at first. And he crushes the cube and gets that blue, stone. Right? Which is a Space Stone. Then he gets the Reality Stone. Now that alone breaks down, gives so much science, so much to be decoded just from those three. Having those three at the start of the movie. You see what I'm saying? So, but then again he gets the Soul Stone by sacrificing his daughter. Then the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. Then the Mind Stone from Vision, which is the last stone he gets. You see. But as I was saying now, those three alone, the first three, goes further into... That alone, you can break down so much science from just him having the first three alone. Just those first three. So that alone, the first three represents the Holy Trinity of creation. Creation started with three. Three is that number of creation. You see what I'm saying? Like you have a chair with two legs, it can't stand, but when you put that third leg now it stands. There's also stability. You see what I'm saying? But again, that alone represents that's the Holy Trinity of creation right there. You see that right there, the number three. So how it links to quarks though? Him having the power in space represents the up and down quark. You see what I'm saying? The up and down quark, and then for the proton it's 2 up, 1 down. For the neutron, 2 down and 1 up. And then the proton and neutron now form atoms now, thus brings forth physical matter now, physical reality. Hence the reality stone. So that alone was deep. You see the order in which he gets them. That's what I'm trying to say. Power, space, then comes the realities of the up and down quarks. Then comes the physical reality as well. So that alone was deep. Just the order in which he gets them was deep. You see. So now I want to deal with what Thanos actually represents. I'm going to go further into it, but there's a lot of occultism dealing with Thanos. There's a lot of occultism. But I want to talk about what he represents though. So now, for example now, in the movie he says, and the reason why he's doing what he's even doing, he said in the movie he says that the universe is finite, the resources are finite, and if he doesn't spread them around and do what he's doing as far as destroying half the universe and doing what he's doing to balance it out, life will cease to exist. So what he's really referring to is the physical universe, the physical created universe. That's the universe he's talking about. You see what I'm saying? So what Thanos really is now, he's the creator of the physical universe. That's what he represents. He's the god of the physical universe, which links him to Brahma, to Zeus, to Marduk. For those people who deal with those we're not going to go into those mythologies, but for those people who deal with those mythologies and the cultures that those names are tied to, you already know what we're dealing with here. You see what I'm saying? You know what we're dealing with. So now, this also links him now to the scene with Doctor Strange. This links him to that scene. So now, but again, we're gonna go more into that into the Doctor Strange edition. But that edition is gonna be deep as well. But we're gonna go more into it in there. But what we're saying here is that this is why you saw one scene now where Doctor Strange now he has these multiple arms, and the multiple arms goes back into deals with the Indian gods. You see what I'm saying? And them having multiple arms dealing with the Indian gods because. And that also goes into, we're going to explain it more in the Doctor Strange edition, but it also links to why he was giving him so much trouble. If you notice, Doctor Strange was the one that gave him so much trouble, and we're going to break that down to you in the Doctor Strange edition, because what Doctor Strange represents in that scene, he represents Rudra Shiva, right? Rudra Shiva, he represents Shiva, who is right? The yogi who practices asceticism, who is in conflict with Brahma, who Thanos represents. You see what I'm saying? But Thanos really, he's more like a conglomerate. What they did with Thanos, they merged a lot into him. There's a lot of ancient mythology permeating through just Thanos himself. So even if you don't, say he's Brahma, you come to your own conclusion. As long as you understand that he represents a god of creation, a god of the physical, then you're on the right path. You're on the right along the right lines right there. That's what he represents. You see what I'm saying? It's Brahma. You see, that's what he is. He's the creator of the physical, and we're gonna explain more towards the end, dealing with the ending. That gives it away. You see. Now I want to move off Thanos for right here, and I want to deal with. I want to deal with the Black Order. Now I want to deal with this. So now, because it links to Thanos, so now I want to explain their relationship with Thanos. Basically, I did a little bit of research into it, and basically they're a group of aliens that Thanos finds. So he goes around the universe, right, and he finds these different aliens, and he forms a team, this Black Order, and there's 6 of them, you see. But only four of them were featured in Infinity War, being a guy named Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, who was the woman, and the Black Dwarf. You see what I'm saying? But they said they're going to replace the Black Dwarf with a new type of guy, but it's the same archetype, that power, big, strong archetype, which is the Hulk-like archetype. That guy, that what I'm saying. You know what guy I'm talking about. That guy. You see what I'm saying? But again, I want to deal with him. I want to deal with it, right? So now, one significant scene, and this scene is the most significant, probably one of the best fight scenes. Again, the one scene where it's Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Hulk, but Hulk, Bruce Banner, realistic, but he ain't really involved in that. So it's really Iron Man and Doctor Strange, where it's Doctor Strange and they're fighting the members of the Black Order, but the 2 guys they're fighting now, it's Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf. The Black Dwarf being the big guy and Ebony Maw being the other guy, but we want to focus on Ebony Maw. So now, that scene alone goes more into what the Black Order really represents. You see what I'm saying? When you see what this guy Ebony Maw was doing. But see what the guy Ebony Maw really, it shows how they're actually more advanced than Thanos himself. Ebony Maw and just the Black Order themselves is actually more advanced than Thanos. You see what I'm saying? Because the stuff that what Ebony Maw was doing, Thanos wasn't able to do until he got 4 Infinity Stones. So when you see Ebony Maw, is just the stuff that he dealing with matter and things that he was doing, just the way he was manipulating matter. Thanos wasn't able to do that until he got the power, space, reality, and soul stones. Until he got those 4 stones, he wasn't even able to do what Ebony Maw was already doing, even without the Infinity Stones. You see what I'm saying? So the Black Order is really some deep science dealing with the Black Order. I want to explain what they represent. You see what I'm saying? So really, they're more advanced than Thanos, right? Now, Corvus Glaive now, he's the one who had this kind of double-edged sword, you see. But with him now, if you notice towards the end of the movie, not just the end of the movie, but throughout the movie, he can only be killed with his own sword. You see, with his own weapon, he can only be killed with his own weapon. And that's the key to it. Like when the end of the movie now, when Vision stabs him, that's the only way he could have been killed. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way, you see, because he can only be killed with his own weapon. So really, he's immortal, basically. He's actually immortal. Again, so it goes more into how these Black Order guys are actually more powerful, more advanced than Thanos. Because Thanos can be killed. Regular people regular aliens and stuff, they can kill Thanos. Like I said in the movie, I think it was Gamora's sister tried to take him out, and he said that she almost succeeded. You see what I'm saying? So, but this Black Order guy, he's immortal, can only be killed with his own weapon. So again, these Black Order guys, they're more advanced than Thanos himself. You see? So now I want to deal with the Black Order and what they represent. I want to deal with this. So now, the Black Order now as a collective, right? But more specifically though, Ebony Maw, right? That guy's name, Ebony Maw now, represent the first inhabitants of Earth. You see, but basically the gods that used to rule. The gods that used to rule. You see what I'm saying? And Bobby, hear me speak about this. How the Egyptians said, before they used to rule, it was the gods. The gods used to rule. You see what I'm saying? So it's really dealing with the pre-dynastic. Now, But I don't want to go too deep into this because I got, you know, so, and you're saying I'm gonna be dealing with some of this in other videos dealing with the pre-dynastic, but that one scene alone gives it all away. I don't want to go too deep into this right now because I'm gonna deal with this in other videos, but that one scene pretty much gives it all away. When he's fighting Doctor Strange and you see Ebony Maw look at what he was doing, and that scene alone goes more into it, and it shows how the elite, they really know what went down on this earth so many millions of years ago, so many eons ago. They understand the truth of what went down. You see what I'm saying? How these monuments were even put in place. They understand this stuff. When you see what Ebony Maw was doing, I don't want to go too deep into it, but there's one specific factor or one specific scene you saw. There's the guy, the Black Dwarf guy, he probably weighs tons, right? He's flying at him. You know the scene, those people who watched it, you know what I'm talking about. He's flying at him at like, what, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, and then you just see what he does. That you don't understand the complexity of that alone. And that also, for those people who have seen my other videos, that's what I'm talking about. How they accomplished these feats. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to go too deep into it, but when that guy was flying and you saw what he did, that's the stuff that was taking place. That's the stuff right there. And that's what I'm trying to say, man. That's how advanced these beings were. I don't want to go too deep into it. You see what I'm saying? But that's it right there. That was it. You see what I'm saying? And that was probably my favorite scenes alone. That was it. In fact, I didn't even have to watch it the second time to get that. The first time I watched it, I already knew what that was. When I saw him do, when I just saw it, oh man, that was it. That was it. And that's what I've been dealing with in other videos. So it proves that not only do they know, you see what I'm saying, what I'm dealing with. Of course they know it. You see what I'm saying? Of course, for them to talk about gravity, of course they know what I'm dealing with. They know that already, but we don't want to go too deep into that. But that's what it is. You see, but now I want to show you how this links to Wakanda. I was spoke about in the Wakanda edition because I picked it up the second time I watched it. Basically now, what's her name now? Proxima Midnight now. So Proxima Midnight, right? She has this spear, and she has this weapon now. And this weapon in the comic book said that it was created by Thanos from a star, some kind of star, or whatever, some kind of sun. It was created. But then what happened was there was this again in Black Panther now. I mean not Black Panther. In Wakanda now there was this barrier, right? Again, there was this barrier. But what happens in the scene where she gets her sword and she realizes that, gets her weapon now, she scrapes across the barrier and realizes that not even her own weapon can break that barrier. So again, we're going more into how that barrier alone is on the same level. It's equal to, if not superior, to those beings as a collective. In the sense that her sword, which was made by Thanos himself, couldn't even break the barrier. You see what I'm saying? Let alone what was taking place. You see what I'm saying, with the barrier itself. So again, what it shows how the barrier, how it covers the whole of Wakanda, shows how it's more, that barrier alone deals more with a pre-dynastic. And again, there's two civilizations here, as I explained in the Wakanda edition. I don't want to reiterate too much, but there's two civilizations here, and this barrier representing how there was a more ancient culture now that predated now, and how this culture now is more advanced than the Wakandans themselves. But again, you gotta check out the Wakanda edition. We go more into that. You see what I'm saying? So now, I want to deal with this now. So now, how it pertains to Thanos now, here is this. Or how it pertains to black people is this. You know, you might hear some people say, you know, they might say, Thanos is us. But see, despite his name being Titan, Thanos is not us. The Black Order is us, but as a collective, but specifically though, Ebony Maw in that one scene with Doctor Strange, that alone gives away so much. That's what was taking place. That's who we really are. But some may say, I don't want to go too deep in this, but some people might say, well, but why does it look that way? Why does it look all, you know, demonic and stuff? Why does it look like that? Again, I've spoke about this, why he looks that way in other videos, but why he looks like that. But I don't want to go too deep into that here. You see what I'm saying? Why he looks so, you know, grotesque and all this. We don't want to go into that right now, but you know what I'm saying? I've spoke about this. You know what I'm saying? For those people who studied, you know, that level of Gnosticism, you already know what that is. You see. So now, I want to go back to Thanos and the Infinity Stones now. You see what I'm saying? And how the actual, him going after the Infinity Stones. And And the collection of the Infinity Stones actually represents a creation story, right? As you know what I'm saying, it actually represents a creation story, right? Because again, he gathers all the stones now, snaps his fingers now, and people die. But I want to break this down to you. You see him saying? So he's again now, he's in love with death. He's in love with death, but not necessarily destruction. And that's the key to it. So people think, oh, because he's snapping his fingers to showing the universe, he's us, but in reality, he's in love with death. I want to break it down to you. But see how this actually links to the Indian text. Because see, in the Indian text now, it speaks about the creation of man. Right? The creation of man, who is Manas now. And Manas, man, lives for long periods of time. He lives for long periods of time. And then Brahma comes along now and says, you know, he wants man to die now. He wants man to die. And he brings forth death, which is personified as a woman. That's the key to it. And again, but in the comic books now, he falls in love with death, who is also a woman. Thanos falls in love with death, who is also a woman. So again, you see where it comes from as far as the dealing with the Indian text, the Indian mythology. You see. But this death that they're talking about now, this death now, is referring to physical life. That's the key to it. Death is life. It's referring to physical life where things decay, right? And people are born to die, dealing with the cycle of reincarnation. That's what that represents. You see what I'm saying? But now I want to explain to you. I want to tap into a little bit into the occultism of death. I want to tap a little bit into it. Now, there's one, for example, when they was dying now, when they was disappearing now, some of them was still talking. They still had actions. They right into the point of complete dissolution. Now they still had actions, still talking, still moving some body parts, showing dealing with consciousness. And how consciousness exists before and after death. So it exists before death and will continue to exist even after death. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole essence of occultism of death right there. That a part of you still exists. You see. You see. So now I want to deal with the Spider-Man aspect. So now dealing with Spider-Man now, there's one scene where Spider-Man was basically, he was dying now, right? But he was scared to die. You see what I'm saying? He was kind of feared dying. He's all hugging up, what's his name? That Iron Man's all hugging him up and that. You know what I'm saying? And because he was about to die. And he said he doesn't want to go. He this and that. So he had a fear of death. But that fear of death is really love for the physical, and attachment to the physical. That's what that really was. You see what I'm saying? But the attachment to the physical now, that's what keeps bringing you back to the physical and the cycle of reincarnation. You see what I'm saying? That's what brings you back. It's this attachment, this fear of death, which really stems from a love of the physical. You see. But it says now in the Bhagavad Gita now, it says that when suffering and joy are equal to you, then you are fit for immortality. So what that's really dealing with is when you've completely detached from the physical, where joy and suffering is the same thing, because you're not in the physical, you're detached from the physical now. You see what I'm saying? You're not attached to the physical now. You're not so invested into the physical. And when that happens now you are fit for immortality. In other words, ending the cycle of reincarnation. So that's the Bhagavad Gita right there. You see. So now we're going towards the end of the video. Now I want to deal with this. I want to conclude this now. So basically now, Thanos now collecting, you see what I'm saying, all the stones now and snapping his fingers now, is basically Brahma creating the physical world. Because see, Thanos' love for death is really love for a physical existence. That's what that is. You see. But one key significant factor of this is the people who died. That's significant. Who died? Groot, you see what I'm saying? Bucky, Black Panther, Doctor Strange. I think it was also the Star-Lord. You see what I'm saying? These are all the beings that died. But see, all the people that died, right, are essentially people that could have lived for long periods of time. For those people who did with the Guardians of the Galaxy aspect, Groot, I'm sure he kind of died in that movie, but there was still a piece of him left, and that resurrected him. So Groot, again, living for long periods of time. Black Panther, you see what I'm saying, based on his movie, and the harp-shaped herb that can heal the wounds and all that, He's living for long periods of time. You see what I'm saying? Bucky, for those people who watch Civil War, that's what I'm saying. Like I said in my first movie, you gotta watch the other movies because it ties all in. You see what I'm saying? Bucky, for those who watch Civil War, you see what I'm saying? But basically in that movie, he kills Iron Man's parents, which is why it was a civil war because they're infighting amongst each other, right? But he looks the same when he was young, right? He looks the same as he does now. Again, living for long periods of time. You see what I'm saying? Doctor Strange, based on his powers and mysticism and all that stuff, you see what I'm saying? He's living for long periods of time. Star-Lord, based on his movie, he's only half human, so again, living for long periods of time. So Thanos is really killing people that could otherwise live for long periods of time. That's the key to it. He's killing people that could otherwise live for long periods of time, which goes into the creation dealing with Brahma, the first man living for long periods of time, and now he wants to bring death, thus a physical reality. So it makes, in other words, it's showing how he's making them mortal. That's what it represents. So it's a creation. It's deep. A lot of occultism is deep. It's a creation story. By him killing them, he's giving them a physical existence. Because if he doesn't kill them, if he didn't snap their fingers, they're living for long periods of time. So he's Brahma bringing death. That's the key to it. It's deep. You see what I'm saying? So dealing with a sequel now, because how that ended, they were, you know what I'm saying? They were setting it up for the sequel. They left people's mouths watering for a sequel. Like when I first watched the movie, people were just sitting there like, this can't be over. There has to be more. So they were setting it up for the sequel. That's how the sequel's coming. But basically in the sequel now, most likely they're just gonna reverse that whole shit. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna reverse all the deaths now, caused by Thanos now, and they've done it in the comic books already. They reversed it, but I think the secret is how they're gonna reverse it. They're gonna change the story up a little bit, but it's already in the comic books already. But basically, they're gonna reverse it now, thus representing reincarnation back into a physical existence. So there you have it. That's the occultism right there. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the Thanos edition right there. You see what I'm saying? So again, man, that's the end of the video right here. So again, that's the whole occultism right there. But again, so now this is the Thanos edition, but we're gonna go into the Doctor Strange edition. That's what we got left. Got the Doctor Strange edition left, and we've got Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy edition. That's gonna be together though. So the four Guardians of the Galaxy edition is gonna be together, and we got the Doctor Strange edition coming up. You see what I'm saying? So again, stay tuned for those two editions right there. So again, that's the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was some good information. Alright, people. Thanks for watching.